Hey, what's up? What's up? It is Friday. What day is it? Oh, it's the 10th. My bad. January 10th. I do want to say this. If you do not have your headphones on, pause, and then get your headphones on, okay? Like do that, okay? So, this shouldn't be a super long video, but we're just gonna go through a few things. So, as you guys can see, Space Dog Math, second trimester goals. I told you guys this stuff yesterday. And then the solar system, CER, and that's the rough draft that you need to get done today. And you see two of these things are due today. So we're just going to walk through that real quick. So I'm going to click off there. I'm going to go to the modules. And as you look in the modules right here, boom, let me scroll down. The Lincoln Literacy, that was due yesterday. So if you've not turned that in, make sure to get that turned in. Okay, so second trimester goals. This shouldn't be anything too crazy. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Blah. And it is just your second trimester goals. Remember this. You just need to scan them and turn them in. Also, you need to leave a comment. So it says right here, make sure to leave a comment and then boom about how your second trimester goals are going. That's all that you need to do. So just make sure again that you leave a comment on how your second trimester goals are going, and then you are good. Yeah, that's it for that one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Space Dog Math, right? Boom, we did this yesterday inside of inside your scientific journal. Here's a copy of it, so in case you're not done, there it is right there. So you got a copy right there. There's also a copy inside the agenda slides. And then last resort, if you want the hard copy, ask the sub. I think it should be, well, I won't say, but just in case they change it. But ask the sub for a hard copy and then make sure to return it to them when you are done. And then there is a video lesson on this. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm like confused, no problem. Click here. And then it'll go right to the portion of the video where I'm actually explaining the actual assignment. So that would be totally good there. All right, so make sure to get that scanned and turned in. Make sure to show all of your work. As a reminder, make sure to show all of your work, as that is half of the credit for this assignment. So if you just give me answers, it's going to be 50% F. Make sure to show your work. Okay, we're going to keep it pushing. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. On to the last thing, which I think the last thing is the CER. Oh, yeah, the last thing is the CER. Okay, cool. So we can go back here, and then we can keep going. And then on to the CER that's on page 102. So 101, 102. So once you've finished all of that, you'll see that there's a CER, and it is on page 101 and 102. Here, we'll just open up that assignment. I just want to make sure for my Spanish-speaking folks who are like, hey, I need it in there. Inside of this assignment, we have all of the instructions in English, and then obviously the assignment's already in English, but then I also put the assignment here in Spanish, okay? And then all the instructions down below also in Spanish. You guys have done a CER before, so it shouldn't be anything too crazy. But let's just go ahead and take a look. The first thing that you need to do is turn to page 101, and then you need to read. Again, read. I'm gonna go new, and then come on. There we go. Boom. So we just need this. Flat out sauce. Alright, cool. So what you need to do here, right, is you need to read the scenario and then go ahead and look through the data, look at the prompt, and then you need to get two things. What's the question? What is the claim? Again, question, claim. Then you can start pulling your evidence. Your evidence should come from this data table right here. So do that first. So pause this video, read the scenario again, and this is on page 101. Read the scenario. After you've read the scenario, read through this data table, okay? Read through this data table, and then what I want you to do is look through this prompt, find the question, okay? So highlight that, underline that, circle that, make sure you know what the question is. then you can answer the claim right here. So then you can go ahead and answer the claim, okay? Then you can find, and your evidence should be coming from this part, and then you can start writing your reasoning paragraph. You need to get your rough draft done by today, okay? Get your rough draft done by today. So pause the video and at least get through the question and the claim, and then unpause this video, and then I'm going to walk through those parts. But again, try and do this for yourself. That's what we're moving, is that you can be able to do this for yourself, and I'm just here as a support, okay? Fam, did you pause the video? Pause the video, go to 101, read that, do all that stuff. Then I'll explain. So please get that done. Learn for yourself. You got to get them reps in. Okay, so let's go ahead and read through this and then see that we're gonna find what is just going on in this whole situation. So in our solar system, there are hundreds of moons. Some planets don't have any moons. Some planets have many moons. Moons can come in many shapes and sizes. According to NASA, they are most likely formed from gas and then from dust when planets were forming. The gravitational force of planets caught the smaller objects, and I like that thing. The gravitational force from the planets caught the smaller objects, forming moons. So that's how moons are formed. So that might be important to us. That's so I'm going to pull that out of that right there. Okay, cool. Then I'm going to go ahead and look at this data table, and I'm going to be like, okay, Mercury, its distance from the sun, right? This tells you how far it is from the sun, and this is 10 to the 6th. So let's just do Mercury's distance. So Mercury's distance, if you say 10 to the 6th, so this is 57.9, right? That's what it is. But remember, it's 10 to the 6th, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how far Mercury is from the sun in kilometers. So I just wanted to make sure that we're understanding, like when this little 10 to the 6 right there, that's what it really means. It's like, hey, so we talked about scientific notation, and I just wanted to make sure that you're like, oh, getting to understand like how big of a number this is. So if we put a comma right here, boom, and then we put a comma right there, boom, that means that Mercury is 57,900,000 kilometers from the sun. So it's the closest to the sun, but it's not exactly super close to the sun. So let's go there. Also, let's talk about mass right there. So Mercury's mass, right, is 0.330, and that's kilograms, but it's to the 24th. Oh my goodness. So this is a really big number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then we would fill all of these in with zeros. That's how big of a number we're talking. And now you see why we definitely need scientific notation, because this number would be outrageously too big to actually have to write out. I don't even know what this number is. 0, 0, oh, and then one more 0, and then kilograms, right? And then, boom. And so we would be like, for every 3, we'd be like, comma, and then 1, oh, yeah, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, 1, 2, 3. If we're trying to format this number, 1, 2, 3, comma. That's how big it would be. So this right here, this is million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. I don't remember what 5 is called, but this is sextillion. 330 sextillion. That's crazy. Let me make sure I got that number right. So hold on. So I looked it up because I didn't know what the 5 was. That is quintillion, and then it is sextillion, septillion, and so on. So just so you know, like how far it is going. And actually, they have some of the scientific notation right down there. So I just wanted to point that out. That is correct. 330 sextillion. That's wild. So I just wanted to make sure you had a grip on how big these numbers are. Okay, let's keep it pushing into the rest of this. So as you see, right, the planets are getting further and further and further and further away from the sun, right? So all the way to Neptune, which is the furthest planet from the sun. Some people are like, what about Pluto? Pluto is sometimes considered a planet, sometimes not because of its small size. Now, also, if you look at the mass of each planet, they vary in masses, right? They vary in the amount of mass. And remember, the more mass a planet has, then the more gravity and the larger the gravitational field is of the object, now, of the planet. Now, also you see here is the gravity. It's kind of telling you the strength of each planet. Then the strength of the gravity of each planet, and then here it's telling you the number of moons, right? So as you're kind of looking, like it looks like two things are happening. The further you get away from the moon, that hopefully, I mean from the sun. If you look at that, the further we're getting away from the sun, then it looks like the more moons that planets are having, because the planets closest to the sun have either 0 or just 1 or 2 moons, and then once you reach a pretty far distance here, which is 700. Let me just make sure I got that right. 778 million kilometers from the sun. Once you reach that point, then now it seems like now you've got a lot of planets, and then we got to think about why is that. So let's go down to the prompt and see if we can get what is the question, right? And again, this is why you need to just look through all of the data, and then you can get yourself going. So then we're going to go here and say, what is the, let's see, write a scientific explanation that explains the most likely reason why Venus does not have moons. So then, if I wanted to turn this in, what would I need to do? Hopefully you got it. And then I would just cross this out, boom, and say, what is, right? So what is, and then boom, right? Oh, I guess I could have kept the, my bad. Yeah, I could have kept that, boom. And then I am going to highlight that again. What is the most likely reason why Mercury and Venus do not have moons? That is my question, okay? So that is my question. And then what is your claim? Because remember, your claim is going to answer that question. The most likely, right? So you should write something like this. The most likely reason Mercury and Venus do not have moons is because, and I'm not going to fill this in, you've got to do this, is because what? Because what? Bop, bop, bop. Why do you think that is? And remember, your evidence should come from this data table. So it looks like, this is just from my just looking, is number one, you got to have a strong gravity, right? So this Mercury has low gravity. That probably is a likely reason. So the lower your gravity, right, then the lower your the smaller your gravitational field. So it's going to be harder for you to grab some of these moons, right, that are passing by as you're developing. Also, Mercury is what? Closest to the sun as well. So the sun has its own gravitational pull. So it is highly probable that the sun, some things that could have been moons, right? The sun probably maybe grabbed some of those, right? Would you guys think that? Like maybe the sun, because the sun has so much gravity and Mercury's so close that maybe the sun pulled in some of those, right? So that might be a reason for Mercury. I'm going to let you guys look at Venus, and then maybe you can come to your own conclusions. Also, if you look at Earth, Earth and Venus have almost identical, we're going to zoom in. Earth and Venus almost have identical, right? Identical gravity right there. So they have very close gravity, they have very close mass. But the Earth is, right, like an extra 50% further. So another like 40, right? Another 40 like million kilometers away from the sun. And how many how many moons does the Earth have? Only one. Only one. So that also tells us something like, yo, maybe there's a certain amount of gravity you need to have moons. That's one, right? And then also maybe there's like a certain distance you need to be away from the sun in order to have moons, because the sun is also pulling, right, at the same time with its gravity. So just remember all of those things. Hopefully that should be helpful. And then on Monday, we will go over this and answer any questions. Definitely try your very best, right? Try your very best. You should get to your claim and then start pulling evidence from this data table. You might need more than 3 pieces. Now, I would say at a minimum get 3 pieces, but they're asking you about 2 different planets that might have 2 different situations as to why they do not have moons. So just check out those things, and you may need more than 3 pieces of evidence, but you got to have a minimum of 3 pieces of evidence. That will be on page 102, and then start writing out your reasoning paragraph, and on Monday we will go through and answer any questions you guys have. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out your hair. Peace. Love y'all. Have a good day.